Hi Maria Junkies, how are you? I hope you're doing well. I posted a picture yesterday because I put out a video, but I also wanted to say that if you wanted to watch any of my live antics, I'm not on there super a lot. I was going to say super a lot, but I'm trying to get better at it with Snapchat and my Instagram stories. And I don't know, I kind of have this ebbs and flows about how I feel about Instagram stories and about Snapchat. As much as I love them and I'm trying to get into them, you know, because I think it's like more spur of the moment kind of thing. But I think about like YouTube and how much I love my channel because all of those videos that I've shot, you know, throughout the years they have longevity in them and they're like teaching tools, you know. And so sometimes I feel like if I'm trying to be inspirational or something like that, I guess it's just maybe I need to not think so deeply into it because, you know, I'm a Pisces, so I'm like always thinking, like overly thinking everything. But I'm just like, you spend all of this energy, and like these celebrities spend all of this energy on Snapchat and Instagram stories, and it's like you're filling up lots and lots of time on these Instagram stories and Snapchat, and they go away after a certain amount of time. And it's like, I guess I'm just maybe thinking too far deep into it or whatever. But anyway, that's why I like YouTube, because once I shoot videos and they're up, they're always educational and you can always go back to them. And I don't know. I mean, I do that with people that I'm motivated by their, you know, personal development or their channels or whatever. And I always feel like I can, you know, maybe sometimes you didn't hear something in a video or something like that, and you're having a struggle in your life, and you can go back to the videos and try to find them again, like if you save them to like a playlist or something. And so I kind of love that about YouTube. Anyway, I don't know, I just wanted to talk to you about Snapchat, and that was my 2 cents about Snapchat and Instagram stories. So I don't know, I may still kind of get into it a little bit more, but I'm just a little, I don't know, I just feel like, ugh, what a waste. Like you spend all day doing this crap, shooting video, and it's like, it's gone. Like, I don't know. Do you know what I'm saying? Does that make sense? Like, do you feel that way or no? Anyway, okay, so what I wanted to talk about was, I've had a lot of people reach out to me about like why they haven't manifested their soulmate, or why they can't figure out certain things about the particular union with their soulmate, or why they haven't had the union. And so basically what I wanted to talk about today was contradiction in our vibration. And so what happens when we aren't getting what we want in life? You know, everything is so perfectly timed out, but also there is a huge thing that we can't forget about our energy levels. And that is, have you ever noticed that, like, you know, maybe you want something and then you're like, no, but maybe I shouldn't or whatever. And so you're contradicting your particular vibration, right? And so I've said this a million times, well, not a million, but you know what I'm saying? I've said it a lot of times, is that when we have contradiction in our vibration, in our frequency, we're not getting what we want in life, like whatever we desire in life, because like the universe doesn't want us to have it, or we're not worthy of it, or we just, you know, it's you can't have everything you want or whatever. But you know what? This is the non-inclusive universe, which means you get what you want and you get what you don't want. It's all in how much you focus on something. Like I can say, you know, I don't know. For example, like I'm sure in life this has happened to you. It used to happen to me all the time until I started recognizing where my thoughts and things were going. And so basically, when you have this contradiction in your vibration, that's the reason you're not getting what you want. Like, say for instance, okay, so this was me, and I'm going to give you an example because the only way I can teach is through my own personal experience, right? Well, when I had moved to Florida and I was here and I had planned, and I think if you've seen other videos or whatever, I told you that I had planned to, you know, get a divorce, and I had made the decision. And, you know, I was in Florida, and I was staying at my parents' and everything. And obviously then you start to have, I mean, because I told you guys that I didn't ever really discuss it in detail about me divorcing my husband, like my ex-husband. Like, I just didn't want to have to deal with that while I was in the house with him, because I felt like personally it was going to be too difficult. Because if you've been around certain personalities that are very, very abrasive, and like, you know how like a lot of things can happen as far as like passive aggressiveness, or kind of being coerced or made to feel guilty, or and I kind of talked about this on my Instagram yesterday, and my Facebook. And so you guys should totally follow me, because I'm always posting stuff on my Instagram account, like little, you know, mermaid methodology, metaphors and stuff for life. But anyway, my name is Raquel Margaret Carter. But what I was saying is that sometimes, you know, people will convince you, you know, you tell someone your story, or say, you know what, I've been really thinking about leaving this marriage of 20 something years, you know. And if you go and I guarantee you this will happen, because it happened to me. And 9 times out of 10, it's the conditioning as for the reasons that people don't do what they really in their heart desire to do, is because you have this idea, or you really feel like, oh, I really think I should do this, or I really think I should go out for this particular job, or I really think I should quit my job and live my dream, and I'm going to do this and this and this and whatever, right? And we have all these beautiful, beautiful ideas and these dreams and desires in our mind and in our hearts. But as soon as you go and tell someone else about it, they're going to convince you that you were wrong for doing and thinking what you're thinking and what you want and desire in life. Like, how dare you get to have what you want in life? Now, that is the main reason that I never told anybody. I didn't even tell my parents. I told not one soul that what I was planning to do, because I knew that as soon as I said something, there was going to be blocks. I wouldn't be able to fly to Florida. I would get the guilt trip from my parents, or, you know, or from my, then when I was in religion, my bishop or whatever. And so I just did not feel like dealing. I already knew, okay, this is what I'm doing. But just as sure as I got to Florida and I was there for a couple of weeks or whatever, and my ex now, but at the time, my husband at the time, realized, like, I started saying, no, I think I want a divorce. I think I want a divorce, because I had initially came to Florida because I did intend on, just wanted to spend some time by myself, like with my parents, you know, and just kind of think things out, because I had been going through a lot of mental stuff. As far as, you know, we had moved so many times, and I was so sick and tired of moving, and I didn't want to move to the state that we were moving to, not because it wasn't a pretty state or anything like that, but when you move and you've been married 25 years almost, and you've moved 20 times, that's kind of a lot. And it was a lot for me to handle all of those years, you know, packing up, getting the movers, you know, packing all the boxes. Like, I think 2 times we had movers move us, but the rest of the times I did it ourselves, you know. The time my ex was moving around, flying around the country, doing job things and stuff like that. And so I had 4 kids at the time too, and it was a lot of work. Okay, so anyway, my whole point is that I was mentally I was like, I need a break. Like, I want to do something for me, you know. I was just tired of not being able to want to live my dream. I felt like it was then time for me to live my dream, and that maybe my husband could calm down a little bit. And it was going to require him to be very, very supportive of me, even though, you know, he was the breadwinner or whatever. Like, that's really what I had wanted from him. And so I can guarantee you that when I knew that I started relishing in wanting to find my soulmate, that person was going to have to be able to at some point support me when I could be the breadwinner, right? Like, I want them to be willing to give up like I did, you know? And so And that's the beautiful thing about Jeffrey, is that I know that he would be willing to do that. And we've talked about that and stuff like that, especially when my books get published and stuff. And so, we have beautiful, beautiful desires that as a married couple. And so I'm really excited about that. But when I had come to Florida, and I had decided that I wanted to leave my marriage and stuff, like I said, I didn't tell anybody. And so obviously the first inclination is that my ex thinks she's got somebody on the side. She's already, doing this and that and whatever, because people start to speculate, because most of the time someone would have talked to you or something, you know what I'm saying? Like, know what your shenanigans, what you're up to. But I had already been listening to Abraham Hicks and following law of attraction stuff, and I knew that, like, it's the same way with desires. And I had already realized that long ago when I had told somebody about my dream and my nonprofit organization and Mermaid Junkie Academy and all that, and they were just like, how do you plan to do that? Like, I lost so many friends. Like, I have no friends that I had when I first told them and started working on my nonprofit in California. Like, there was nobody. I had like a board member of like 6 people that were behind me at the time, and now all of them flaked on me, because I really believe that once someone starts becoming successful, or they start seeing like, crap, her desires are manifesting, they start to get envious of you. And that's what's going to happen too. Like, if you end your marriage, or you feel like, you need to do something else career-wise, or, whatever the situation is, whatever you desire and dream in your life, people are going to come at you like tenfold. So you have to have a good sense of strength and internal self-love, because if not, you're going to cave and go right back to how you were living, the comfortable, let me not just make waves, let me just figure this out. Oh, it's my problem. Maybe I shouldn't be feeling like this. Maybe I should give this marriage another try, or whatever. And so, I mean, obviously that's your own particular mission and your own transformational journey in life, and you can do whatever you want, and you're never wrong for where you are in whatever stages, I don't ever want anybody to feel like if you don't do it a certain way that you're wrong in any way, because you're never wrong. You're never wrong for staying in a marriage for 50 years and then you decide to divorce. I mean, I have friends that have literally been married 40 something years and they ended up leaving their spouse, And so it seems overwhelming, but my whole point is that whenever I made that decision to get a divorce, I was not willing to let anyone come in between me and myself. And so I don't know if that makes any sense, but like, I didn't care why my parents thought I was there, whether they thought it was because I was going to have, because I had told my parents, I kind of lied to them, but I told my parents I was coming there because I wanted to prepare for my first retreat, which initially that was what I had wanted and intended to do. But I also wanted to go there because I knew in my mind, I was like, this will take my mind off of everything too, and then it'll help me make better decisions as well. So it kind of worked both ways. It was like the universe kind of provided all these avenues for me to actually, have everything that I desired ultimately. But what I really wanted to say is that the whole thing is like the universe is non-inclusive. So that means that if you're struggling with something in your life, or you're feeling like, well, why isn't this happening, or you're not wrong. You didn't do anything wrong. It's nothing to do with that. It's not like, oh, maybe I don't, deserve this. Maybe I don't deserve love. Maybe I don't deserve my soulmate or my twin flame or whatever. And that is really not what it is. The only reason that you have, your desires are not manifesting is because you're contradicting what you're saying. And you might not realize that you're doing it. And this is a beautiful another way of like why I use a focus wheel, because when we're in our own head, you know how like a lot of times we don't realize what we're doing because it's so habitual, and we've had these beliefs for so long, and you just kind of go about your life and you don't realize like, oh, I'm totally contradicting myself when I say that, but I'm not really meaning that. And the universe only sees what we mean. The universe doesn't see. I can say all day long. When I had made the decision to leave my previous marriage, I did not contradict myself one time. And, well, I take that back. I did start to contradict a little bit when I started getting a lot of heat from people. Realize, like, oh my gosh, she's filing divorce papers. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing, Raquel? What are you doing? And so, yeah, I started to get, and then I was just like, okay, yeah. But I had to like recollect my thoughts, and that's why I didn't talk to anybody. Like, I was on my parents' couch for 2 weeks and I cried solid for 2 weeks, but I just zoned out on YouTube and listened to music. I did not talk to anybody. I didn't talk to my brother, even though my brother was still living with my parents at the time. Both of my brothers, actually, or two of my brothers, because I have 3 brothers, but and I didn't talk to my parents about it. I didn't sit them down and say, this is what I'm doing. I did none of that. I was just like, I'm going to figure this out. I'm a big girl. I'm going to figure this out. And I don't need anybody else to give me any advice, because I don't need anybody's advice. I know what I'm doing, and I'm living with this decision. This is my decision, and I'm living with it. And so that's what you have to do, is that you have to make your decision and don't go back on it. Don't question like, oh, what if I made a mistake? You're never making it. And so that will help you to remember. If you go through life and you think, if you recreate the belief system that you never can make a bad decision, like you don't have any regrets because everything is always working out for you, like the universe has always got your back. You're never making the wrong decision, or, oh, I regret this, or whatever. Don't ever look at life like that. You make a decision, line up with the decision, and I swear to you, everything will fall into place. It's all in your contradiction. If you say, oh, I really want to leave this marriage, but then 5 minutes later, or you're going to sleep at night and you're thinking, oh my God, I can't do this to my kids. Oh my God, what are my parents going to think? Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, he's gonna spread rumors about me. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna look like an adulterer, blah, blah, blah. Like, do you see what I'm saying? Like, if you were to start doing that, that's the reason that you can't go through with it, because you haven't really literally made the decision and stuck with the decision. And so there's so much contradiction. It's hard not to keep looking out. That's why I'm always looking out, you guys, because there's birds it's like a freaking sanctuary over here at Staffordshire. Like red birds and cardinals and doves. I mean, all kinds of birds. I can't believe how many cardinals are here. Anyway, so that was my side note. But that's the reason that I'm always looking out the window, is it's so beautiful. But just try to remember that. You have to line up with the decision. Make the decision. And in my opinion, I mean, that's just what I did. You don't have to do that along your journey. But I didn't tell anybody. The only thing I was telling is my journal, and I was writing it down in letters whenever I'd feel, because it's really, I realize this too, it's really hard when you don't talk to anybody. Have you ever noticed that? Like, even because people always have this desire to want to justify themselves, or try to convince people that the decision that you're making is the right one for you. And no one's ever going to completely agree with you. And so you have to be in agreement with yourself. It's all about self. And if there's anything I ever want to promote and inspire you, is that you have to leave everyone alone in order to get your life in order and start focusing on your own journey and your own self-love, and solidifying that sense of relationship with yourself, and how much you love yourself, and how much that relationship with you and your inner being, God, source, whatever you want to call your higher being or your inner being, which is basically, spirit. Those are the only two relationships vitally important. And if source is always on your side, no matter what, it doesn't matter what anyone else in the entire world believes about you. No one. It matters about no one else but you and source, your inner being. And so I've had so many people reach out to me about, like, it's just amazing how many people have reached out to me, especially with like my twin flame and soulmate videos. and how many people contact me, and I'm literally still flabbergasted at the amount of people. Like, I will see people, you know, friends that follow me on Facebook, on my fan page and Instagram or whatever, and they will DM me, and that I would have thought that they were the perfect, happiest couple. But I guess I can resonate with that, because most of the time, I think when people knew that my ex and I were divorcing, was like, what the crap happened? Like, only maybe those super close to me, which is rare, maybe knew, but like my family never knew. Like, I kept everything looking perfect, you know? And, you know, people might say, oh, well, that she's still like that. She's probably just doing that with this new husband. But I'm really not. I mean, I'm very honest with you guys and upfront, and say, you know, there's been times that, you know, that Jeffrey and I have gotten in arguments or whatever, like when we first started dating and stuff, because I think we had to work out like some kinks and everything about, and that's not to say we're never going to have other issues either, because life's always throwing you contrast to help dig in and help you to become that self-aware, beautiful, beautiful soul that we all are. And so we're all learning from each other, you know? And so if anything, I mean, Jeffrey is my teacher, and I'm his teacher, and that's the way this world and the universe should work, is that we all look at each other like we're each other's teacher. And so, but so many times, I guess, you know, people are reluctant to be very forward like that, especially like with me, because I can understand that, because I wasn't always super, you know, like I said, I wasn't always like that until this huge life-changing event happened to me. And then I was just like, I started having my awakening. And I think that anybody else that's going through a spiritual awakening as well, you know, like I think I've been on my spiritual awakening probably for 4 years, a little over 4 years. And I'm still in the thick of it, and I still just love it so much. I'm always still learning, you know. And so if there's any way that I can ever inspire any of you, you know, to you know, and I'm not sitting here trying to be a, you know, an advocate for like everyone should leave their marriage. No, I'm not saying that, but I am saying that, you know, there's a lot of times that in order to heal and to have your own transformation and your own journey, you have to start putting yourself first. You have to put yourself first, you know. And I know, even especially as a mother, I mean, my youngest child is almost 18 years old. And so I get it. I do get it, you know. And so, but everybody's different, and everybody's journey is individual, and that's what makes the world so beautiful. But if there's anything that I can just say to you, is that be your own best friend. Be your own best friend. And then you don't have to worry about anything else. Everything else will fall into place if you can just stop with the contradictions and make a decision, and then keep going forward with that particular decision. Don't let anybody else change your mind, because people will try to change your mind, because people want you to condition yourself back to the way that you were, because that keeps them comfortable. That keeps them not having to look elsewhere or think, you know, oh, maybe I need to work on something. And so if you're always being conditioned into being like a puppet on a string, you're almost enabling other people around you not to grow, because you're keeping their lives easy. Do you know what I'm saying? Because you're trying to conform to them and to keep the peace. And I get it. I totally get it. But it's a miserable way to live. It's a miserable way to live, for my own personal experience, you know. So anyway, I hope this video was helpful. And as always, I'm yours until my next swim. Ciao.